Huzzah, and welcome, future and current artists, to another episode of Drawing with Dr. Doodle. I'm your art teacher, Dr. Doodle, and today you're going to learn how to draw something amazing.
A dragon guarding a treasure
Harold,
chest.
I was just about to say that. Well, before we begin, you're only going to need 2 items. Hopefully you have these: a piece of paper and a pencil. Now, if you want to color your work in when we're done and you have a crayon or a colored pencil or markers, you can color it in when we finish today. However, if you don't have those supplies right now, you can always wait to color your work in when you get those supplies. So you know what? Let's begin. Hello, and let's start our lesson for today. First thing you will need are your art materials, art supplies. You'll need a piece of paper, a pencil, and if your pencil isn't sharp enough, you'll need to have a pencil sharpener. And like always, before using a pencil sharpener, you're going to want to make sure that all of the shavings are not filling up the sharpener, so that way it's not full. If it's full, it's not going to work properly. And if it is full, then you're going to want to empty it out before you sharpen your pencil. So today we're going to be holding our paper horizontally, or the long way. And with that, let's begin our lesson. So when you draw a shape like a square, and you can make more accurate and even line shapes by using a ruler if you have one, or if you are making a rectangle, these shapes are called two-dimensional shapes, or 2D shapes. But today we're going to be learning about how to draw something in 3D. And so to make this two-dimensional shape and this two-dimensional shape into a 3D shape, what you're going to want to do is draw another version of that shape. So another square that's just on the bottom left edge or the bottom right edge. On this one, we're going to do the bottom right, another rectangle. And then from each point, we're going to connect a line to the other shape. So from this square, a line here, here, on this side, and this side. And now we have what's called a cube. And we're going to do it with the rectangles as well. So from these 2 points, we're going to connect a line. These 2 points, another line. From these 2 points, another line, and inside, another line. Now, as you can see in both of these shapes, we can see inside of it. It's almost like a glass rectangle or a glass cube. Now, if you don't want to be able to see inside of it, this could be the top where the opening is, so the other sides we won't be able to see in, and that's why it's a good idea to draw very lightly, and we'll erase those lines. And now we have a box with an open top. On the right-hand side, we'll erase it. On this side, and now we have a rectangular box with an open top. If we wanted to, we can make 2 diagonal lines on this side and connect them with a line and erase inside of them, and we're starting to create the flaps to close our box. So on the other side, we're going to do the same thing, 2 diagonal lines and connect them. If we use a ruler, they'll look a lot better than the ones I just drew here. So now we have an open top. Maybe we'll have a bunch of other flaps on the other side. So 2 diagonal lines, connect them, and then we can erase the lines inside of it. On the other side, we might not be able to see the flap, or maybe we will. So 2 diagonal lines here and connect them. And now we have 4 flaps to close our box. To make this more 3D, let's say that there's a light source, like a lamp or the sun, and it's shining on our box. So let's have it since the light is on the left side, let's have this side shaded in to make sure that we have a shadow right on our left side. So light on the left, shadow on the right. If there's light source on the right, then the shadow will be on the left. So shadow is on the opposite side, shading on the opposite side of the light source. So we've created two three-dimensional boxes, one that's a cube, one that's rectangular. Let's get another sheet of paper. Now let's actually make this box or cube into something a little bit more unique. So we'll start again by drawing what? That's right, a two-dimensional square. And then let's have our other square to make it three-dimensional on the right-hand side. Okay, and then what do we do with the 2 points over here? If you said connect them with a diagonal line, that's correct. So we're going to do that with all of the points of this square, and we're going to turn it into a cube, and we're going to erase inside the parts of the cube that we can't see inside of. Once we've erased that, now we can have some fun and put something inside of our box. But before we do that, let's create the horizon line. We'll create a line that goes until it hits the box, and another one on the other side. And this horizon line normally separates the ground from the sky, but in this case it will separate the table from the rest of our picture. So this box is on the table, and coming out of it, well, whatever you want. Let's say you maybe want to have an egg coming out of it. Let's make a lowercase letter n. And since we can't see through this egg, we're going to erase all the lines that are inside of it. Now let's have fun with the egg as well. Let's see that there's maybe some cracks in it. So we'll have some kind of lightning bolt like lines, and maybe there's some more lines here showing a crack. And then maybe it's already cracked open and something's peeking out. Maybe what's coming out of it is you thought you might have had a bird egg, but it's actually, let's make some circles and ovals and half circles, small ones, big ones. Maybe this is a dinosaur egg. So let's have a claw coming out of our egg, and then we could shade around that claw. Like, it's very dark in there. We don't know what kind of dinosaur is coming out of here. And then around the egg, we can add some shading. So that way it looks like it's a deep box that this egg is sitting in. And then let's say that the light source is shining from our left. So if the light is coming from our left, then on our right is where we can shade and add shadows all along our picture. And if you have coloring supplies, you can color this in. Hopefully you have more paper, because we're going to make something that is very, very detailed in a little bit. But before we do that, let's take a puzzle break.
As an artist, it's a good idea to take a break from your work. Taking a break allows us to look at our work with fresh eyes and possibly with some new ideas. So that's why we're going to take a puzzle break. And what type of puzzles are we going to do on Drawing with Dr. Doodle? Well, we're going to tackle puzzles that I love to do. They're called rebus puzzles. Rebus is spelled R-E-B-U-S. And what is a rebus puzzle? Well, I'm glad you asked. Behind me is an example of just one, and we're going to walk through the solution to this puzzle right now. So what word do you see behind me? Well, take your time. If you guessed the word behind me is hurry, then you're half right. What direction is the word hurry going in? Well, take some more time to solve that. Well, if you guess that the word hurry is going up, then you have half of the solution as well. So let's combine the two half answers or half solutions that we solved together. Hurry, so we've got the word hurry, and the word hurry is going up. And if you heard me just say that and it clicked in your head that the answer is hurry up, then you have solved this rebus. So with that out of the way, why don't you try to solve this puzzle by yourself, but you don't need to hurry up to solve this puzzle. Take your time, and if you get your parents' permission, you can email the solution to thedoodledoctor@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the lesson.
Right. I hope that you enjoyed our puzzle break. And now that we're back, let's get a new sheet of paper or use the back of one of our other pieces of paper. We're going to hold our paper horizontally as well. And we're going to start, like we did the last time, with a two-dimensional square. And we're going to make our next square to the bottom right of this, and they have to overlap. Overlapping is when two or more objects are covering a part of each other. So once we've drawn our two, well, in this case they're kind of more rectangular because I'm not using a ruler, but these two-dimensional shapes, we're going to connect them like we did the past two times, from the corners to the corners. And then inside, we're going to erase all the lines. Next step, we're going to separate the ground from the sky. This time we're not going to make a straight horizon line. We're going to make a little bit of a curve here, and you'll understand why in a little bit. Make sure we're drawing very lightly, so that way we can erase our lines a little bit easier. From here, let's make the top of our box. So we're going to make, let's say, 2 letter C's. And let's have another letter C right behind this one, connecting the top over here. So we'll make a line connecting this letter C, to this letter C here, and let's have another line here and connecting the two. From here, let's make another letter C right here and another letter C right here. And you might already know what it is we are creating, but if you don't know, those of you who do know, shh, don't tell the others what this is. I want this to be a surprise. Now, before we add any more details, let's create something inside of our box. So what I would suggest you do is let's make a lumpy hill inside of it, and let's erase the line that's now inside of that lumpy hill. And now let's start decorating our box. So first, let's make another diagonal line over here. Let's actually make another square just on this side, and let's make another square or rectangle on this side. And I think that you might know already, but if you don't, there's still a couple of steps left, a couple of details left before you probably will figure it out. So on the top, let's make some lines across. You can decide how far apart the lines are. And now let's make one last rectangle over here, and let's make a circle and a rectangle attached to it. And now it should be obvious, we're making a treasure chest. So in this rectangle here, let's make some lines here. These are supposed to represent the wood, because this is an old treasure chest, and we're going to make some diagonal lines going over here. Now we have our wood planks, and around the edges will be metal. And then what we could do is have our treasure. So maybe our treasure is just gold coin, so we can make an oval, maybe a letter U on the bottom to make it 3D. We don't have to draw each gold coin. You can if you want to, but what's great about art is we can create an illusion that works really well. An illusion is just a visual trick that makes us think that the whole thing is supposed to look a certain way. So if we draw a couple, maybe 10, 12, 20 coins, we don't need to fill this whole thing with coins. We'll know that the rest are supposed to be coins. So we can make smaller coins with the letter U underneath. We can have big ones. And let's spread those coins around to add to the illusion. We could also add other things to our coins. Maybe we want to make a triangle and a triangle below that, connect the two. We could do another triangle and another triangle and connect these, and we've got a diamond or a sapphire, a gem, if you will. So again, to do this, we make a triangle, triangle below, triangle, and a triangle, and we connect the lines, and now we have another gem. Let's make one more coin over here, and let's make a different kind of gem or ruby. We can make a circle. We can make another circle inside of it. Maybe this is actually an amulet or a piece of jewelry, so we'll make tiny circles for the clasp that will go around somebody's neck. And there you go. So now we have a bunch of jewels, gold coins inside our treasure chest. Before we move forward, let's figure out where our light source is coming from. Is it coming from the left or the right? You get to decide, but for myself, I'm going to pick the left, and our light source is going to come from the background. There'll be a torch. So let's make a triangle or an ice cream cone. And then what we can do is we can have a flame coming from there. And you can add more than one torch if you want. You could have it on the left side and the right side. But since this is very important treasure, it has to be guarded by something or someone. So that's the fun that we're going to have right now. We're going to create a dragon to guard and protect this treasure. And I know what some of you are thinking, how am I going to draw a dragon? Or drawing a dragon is way too hard. But don't worry, if this is your first time drawing a dragon, that's what's great about art. You have an eraser just in case you make a mistake, and if you make a mistake that you can't erase or just not getting how to draw, then you can try and try again. This is our first time practicing, and I might make a mistake myself, so don't worry. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our dragon's head. And I'm going to have our dragon's head looping around from the back of the treasure chest, going in front of the treasure chest. So the first thing I would do is let's make a large letter C, and let's draw lightly. Let's make another letter C, and let's erase inside that letter C, that bubble letter C. From there, we're going to make the dragon's head. The dragon's head is going to overlap the treasure chest. So it's going to go over the treasure chest, and we're going to have to erase a part of it. So let's make a letter N, and let's make a letter U, and then erase inside of it. Before we add any details to this snake-like shape, let's make the tail wrapping around the treasure chest and looping around it. So we'll make a letter U going off the page and a letter U going off the page over there. Let's erase inside that tail so we can't see through that tail. And if you can't tell already, our dragon is going to be so big that it's falling off the page. We're not going to see every part of the dragon, and that's okay. So to do the part of the dragon's body that we can see, let's make a large letter N that goes off the page. And let's start by making some of the legs, the front paws or front claws or front legs. So the first thing that we're going to do is make a letter C right next to the head. And it's going to fall off the page. We're going to erase this part of the horizon line. And we're going to make some triangles for the claws. That's one of the legs. We can have another leg maybe just going underneath the head. So we'll make a line going down and we can erase this part of the horizon line. The back leg can be right over here. We can make 2 lines and then a bunch of triangles for the claws. And now, how do dragons fly? What are we missing? Well, we're missing some wings, but the wings are going to fall off the page unless I do something, and unless you draw it, the wings a little bit small. So maybe this dragon is a young dragon and its wings are very small. So let's make a triangle, and we'll have another triangle here. We can end it in a point. We can have tiny triangle here, and then we could make a lowercase letter n and a lowercase letter n, and we can erase this line right over there, and we've got a cute dragon wing. And if you want to make another one, we can make it falling off the page. We don't see all of the wing. And now we've got 2 wings, but we want to add some more details to make this dragon look more lively. So let's make our dragon's eyes. So to make the dragon's eyes, what we'll do is make a letter N, a letter U, and then we'll make a letter C and a backwards letter C. And you can shade this all in if you want to. Dragon's eyes they kind of look like cat eyes. We can make a line above that, and this is the eyebrow. And then for the mouth, we can make a long letter U. We can have some triangles coming out of it for the teeth. It's hard to see both eyes from this side, but we can draw one of the other eyes over here if you want to. And then dragon's noses are just nostrils, so we'll make 2 dots, maybe a line in between. And this looks like a very cute dragon. If you have any coloring materials, art supplies, crayons, markers, colored pencils, now's the time that you can color it in, or you can add some more details to it before you do that, or you can just add some more details with me. So dragons are not real creatures, but if they were close to anything that we know about, they would be like snakes and other reptiles. So they might have scales, so we can draw scales by making letter U's, and you can fill up the dragon. And just like with the coins, you don't need to fill up the whole dragon with scales, just enough to make it known that it has scales. Or instead of just drawing the scales, maybe your dragon has different colors on it, kind of like different snakes. And you can ask your parents if you could look up different snakes and different reptiles, and you could try to copy the patterns that the different reptiles have. Some reptiles have different stripes and lines, and maybe your dragon has that all across maybe the neck and the tail. We can add horns. Dragons sometimes are drawn with horns, and they could be, since it's a small baby dragon, maybe the horns are small, so a triangle and a letter U, triangle, letter U for where the horns are coming out. We could have spikes on the back too, so maybe a letter V or a triangle, and it's just going all the way up the neck. It's up to you how you want this to be. And then maybe for the body, maybe instead of just lines or spikes, or maybe the spikes continue up the back, we can make these nice wavy patterns that we create into like a bubble shape that even fall off the page because the dragon's body is falling off the page. It's up to you how you decorate your dragon, but once you're done, you might want to, if you don't have anything to color this with, since the light is coming from the left-hand side from the torch, then our shadows are going to be on our left-hand side. Since the light is coming from the left-hand side, our shadows are going to be coming, we're going to be drawing them on the right-hand side. And you can shade all of your picture. Maybe coming from your dragon's nostrils, if the mouth isn't open, you can draw a flame, and now we've got another light source. But it's all up to you. And I hope that you enjoyed our lesson today, but we're not done yet. The last thing you need to do with every artwork that you make is write your name somewhere on the paper. It could be on the front, it could be on the back. And then always write the date so you know when you look at this later on when you made this.
Now it's time for me, Harold, the extremely talented art critic, to critique your artwork.
Wait, what?
Don't
I didn't
worry,
agree
Dr.
to
D.
this.
I won't be too harsh.
Why, thank you. What?
Okay,
Wait.
fellow art detectives, let's get critiquing. What do you see? What do you think is happening in this artwork? What materials do you think the artist used to make this artwork? Does this remind you of anything? What questions do you have about the artwork? Pretend you can enter into the artwork. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What piece of the artwork is your favorite, and why? If you could change one thing about this artwork, what would you change? How does this artwork make you feel? Can you explain why? If you had to describe this artwork to a friend, what kind of words would you use? So, Dr. D, was that so hard now?
It wasn't hard at all, Harold. Thank you.
Is how hard I will critique him next time. Until next time, future and current artists, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed creating art with me and that I've inspired you to create as imaginative artwork in the future. If you'd like to have your work displayed on a future episode, obviously you need your parents' permission, but once you get it, you can email your artwork at thedoodledoctor@gmail.com. Well, bye!